Tigers fan, I'm sure you're over the moon at that signing and kind of your initial thoughts on his signature for the Tigers and not making his way out to the Dragons.
I've had a lot of people, a lot of mates and family members and stuff like that. G'day, Percy. Our local neighbourhood magpie has just jumped onto my table in the backyard. You put me off, Percy. I'll get you some biscuits in a minute, son. I as a West Tigers fan, physically, like as a football player, he could potentially be a future like top 5 prop in the game.
Definitely.
To the point where he was just re-signed this year by the Sydney Roosters, and obviously the Roosters with their injuries have gone, okay, well we're going to have to push him out of the club to bring in other players to fill those spots that they feel like they need to require to stay a top 4 potential team and potentially win the comp. But there is another side to it, the off-field stuff. So for me, the dynamic of Terrell May, it comes back to, I think you asked me many moons ago about Fanua Blake, and does he fit what Shane Flanagan wants for the Dragons in that period, and what type of player does Flanagan want at the club? I think now Dragons fans should, or Red V listeners should, be a little bit frustrated in the sense that you've already now set in place, you got Gutherson, you got Cook, you got Holmes. There is space for a guy like Terrell May. There is space for that personality, that dynamic. The West Tigers needed a quick win because they lost Oitukamanu to the Melbourne Storm. The West Tigers never before have bottom 8 or was bottom 9 now teams so desperate for quality front rowers. So I think that's a short-term win for the West Tigers. Whether he gets through 3 years is another story. So if that's the issue with baggage for Terrell May at West Tigers, it would have been the same issue that the Dragons would have had. So to answer your question really quickly, it's up in the air. I'm not sure. I shrug my shoulders and say if he can make us a better team next year and get us to the middle of the table and away from the wooden spoon, then that's great. And we'll worry about Terrell May in 2 or 3 years. But for now, for the West Tigers, yeah, it's a victory. But I don't think the Dragons are too stressed that they missed out at the same time as well.
Yeah, I think it's a really good signing, a really good value signing as well. He's a $2 million contract over 3 years, which is roughly $630,000 a season for a guy when you look at his stats and even the optic test of how he looks offensively and defensively. With the Roosters last year and even kind of coming up through the grades at Penrith. I think he's someone that will be looked at as a premier front row, and who knows if he has a good first 6 or 8 weeks of the season. And he could be a bit of a bolter for the Blues in State of Origin as well, because his name was certainly kind of bandied around at stages last season. I just think it's another example of the Dragons cheaping out. I think the Dragons have been more than happy to fork out